The rain fell like a curtain, relentless, as I approached the school. Its windows gleamed with streaks of water and grime, reflecting my own image in fractured shards. Every step on the cracked concrete sounded loud, intrusive, like it was being broadcast to the building itself. I told myself it was abandoned, that the stories were nonsense, that nothing could be here. But my gut refused to lie. Something inside me screamed that I was wrong. The front doors creaked as I pushed them open, metal hinges groaning. Inside, the smell hit me immediately. Rust, decay, and something metallic, almost coppery, like blood that had been left to dry for years. Dust lay in thick blankets on the floors, desks, chairs. The lockers lining the hallway seemed to glint with awareness, dented metal reflecting the dim light, eyes staring, following me. I swallowed hard. The echoes of my own footsteps grew longer, stretched unnaturally down the hallway. I could almost hear whispers curling along the walls. Names. I couldn't recognize them, but they seemed familiar, soft and warped. Leave, leave, leave. A locker slammed behind me, metal clanging. My heart shot into my throat. I told myself it was the wind, or maybe the building itself settling. But the sound was deliberate, measured, alive. I moved forward, forcing my legs to obey, slow and careful, aware of every creak and groan beneath my feet. Shadows along the walls seemed to shift, stretching unnaturally, bending in ways that made my stomach lurch. I wanted to stop. I wanted to run. But curiosity, or something darker, propelled me onward. I came to a janitor's closet, door slightly ajar. Inside, a notebook lay on a shelf. Its pages were smeared with something dark, sticky. I hesitated before opening it. Words scrawled across the paper leapt out at me. He watches. He waits. You cannot leave. The pages flipped violently on their own, as if an invisible force forced me to read every line. The whispering in my head grew sharper, more urgent. Break. Break. I tried to leave, but doors refused to open. Lockers groaned as if alive. Something dragged across the floor, soft but heavy. I froze, straining to listen, and then I saw it. A photograph lying in a puddle of rainwater from a broken window. The image was of one of my friends. Their face had been scratched out in jagged, angry lines. I hadn't noticed them standing here before. The building, it existed before me, before anyone. It didn't care about time. It didn't care about rules. I stumbled into another hallway. One of my friends was there, staring at a wall, eyes wide and unblinking, lips trembling as if trying to form words but unable to. Then they collapsed, crumpling in a way that was not natural. The whispers in my head became unbearable. Only one will leave. Mirrors reflected versions of myself I didn't recognize. Faces twisted, multiplied, distorted. Carved into the walls were words that cut through my skull. Only one will leave. Metallic clangs echoed from the lockers. Shadows writhed along walls, fingers of darkness stretching toward me. My sketchbook trembled in my hands. Inside, my friends appeared twisted, faceless, looming behind me, screaming silently. I had to move. I had to survive. The gym stretched before me, cavernous and oppressive. A faceless figure stood at the far end, unmoving, eerily calm. The whispering erupted like thunder. Divide. Divide. Some of my friends ran. I heard screams, sudden and sharp, then silence. Others vanished without a sound, swallowed by the building itself. I stumbled forward, lungs burning, heart hammering. I found a classroom and barricaded myself inside. The whispering climbed into a deafening crescendo. One, only one. The hall outside warped, reflections accusing me, moving independently of my own. My sketchbook pages showed my friends' faces twisted into grotesque, silent screams. I pressed it to my chest. I had to keep moving. I ran. Endless hallways stretched before me, impossible angles. Shadows reached for me, scraping along walls, floors, ceilings. Doors slammed shut on their own. Screams echoed endlessly, sometimes distant, sometimes impossibly close, vibrating through bone and skull. One, only one, survive. The corridors became monstrous. Lockers gaped like jaws, ready to snap shut. Reflections screamed silently. I whispered to myself, "Don't stop. Don't breathe. Keep moving. The faceless figure moved through walls effortlessly. Shadows clawed, pressed into my mind, consuming. Choose or die. I barricaded another classroom. Walls pulsed. Whispering climbed inside my thoughts. My sketchbook trembled. My friends appeared inside it, screaming, trapped, twisted, broken in impossible ways. I was alone. Only one. I have to survive. I wandered endlessly. Hallways stretched infinitely. Doors vanished. Stairs led to nowhere. Reflections multiplied. Faceless figures appeared at impossible angles. Shadows crawled across every surface. Every corner was alive. I saw my friends in my sketchbook, mutilated, dismembered, screaming silently. I couldn't stop staring. I couldn't stop thinking about them. I hid, barricaded, ran, repeated. The whispering became a deafening scream inside my skull. Reality fractured. Walls breathed. Sounds became shadows. Shadows could kill. One, only one. Survive. I whispered it endlessly, like a mantra, a prayer, a promise. The faceless figure hunted me relentlessly. Shadows clawed at my skin, pressed into my mind. Hallways twisted infinitely. Doors vanished. The building itself was alive, mocking me. I ran stairwells that stretched forever. Faceless figures blocked every path. Shadows writhed like chains, trying to crush my will. I stumbled into the library. Books fell from the shelves without sound, pages flapping like tortured wings. Shadows danced along the walls. The faceless figure drifted silently through the shelves. My sketchbook trembled. I opened it to see my friends again. Faces contorted into grotesque silent screams, bodies broken at impossible angles. I ran. The hallways stretched and twisted. The faceless figure was everywhere and nowhere. Shadows reached from every wall, clawing at my mind, pulling at memories, sanity, identity. I found a staircase. It stretched upward into darkness. The faceless figure drifted closer, looming, impossible. Whispering filled my head. Only one. Survive. Only one. Survive. I collapsed halfway up the stairs. Shadows pressed into my mind, clawing, burrowing. The faceless figure loomed above, inevitable, impossible. I grabbed my sketchbook, pages showing my friends again, each one broken, silent, lifeless, yet alive in ink and shadow. I forced myself to climb, step by step, hand over hand, heart hammering, mind fracturing. The building itself pulsed with awareness, feeding on my fear, shaping reality. I reached the top. The hall stretched endlessly. Doors appeared and vanished, mirrors reflecting impossible versions of myself. Shadows crawled along walls, reaching. The faceless figure appeared in every reflection, every corner, every shadow. I whispered again, my mantra. I will survive. I will survive. I will survive. I ran. The hallway stretched beneath my feet, impossible and infinite. Shadows clawed at me, wrapping around arms, legs, torso. I tripped, rolled, scrambled. My sketchbook slipped from my hands, pages flapping like broken wings, showing my friends, twisted, broken, silent. I bolted through a door that appeared suddenly, landing in the cafeteria. Broken tables, shards of glass, rain pouring in. My lungs burned. Shadows climbed along walls, pressing, clawing. I stumbled toward another door. The faceless figure appeared, limbs bending impossibly, shadows stretching from it like sentient darkness, whispering, one, only one, survive. I pushed through a door to the gym. Bleachers loomed like jagged teeth. Shadows followed, crawling, reaching. My sketchbook trembled, pages showing my friends contorted, faceless, broken. I pressed it to my chest and ran, leaping across broken benches, over splintered wood, lungs heaving. I reached a stage, leaping over chairs, heart hammering, vision flickering between hallucination and reality. The faceless figure drifted silently behind me, closer, inevitable. Shadows clawed at my arms, wrapping, pulling. I scrambled to the back of the auditorium, found a stairwell, spiraling into darkness. I climbed desperately, ignoring pain in my legs and arms. The building moaned, walls bending, ceilings dropping, stairs twisting. The whispers were deafening. Only one. Survive. Only one. Survive. I I reached the top of the stairwell, hands slick, lungs burning. The hallway stretched impossibly. Shadows clung to walls, floor, ceiling. The faceless figure loomed at the far end. I ran. I burst through doors outside. Rain lashed my face, wind whipped around me. The building behind pulsed, alive, patient, mocking. Its windows reflected my shattered form. I ran across the courtyard, slipping in mud, breath ragged. The whispers screamed inside me. Only one. Survive. I stumbled into the street, collapsed. My sketchbook lay open beside me, pages fluttering. Faces of friends, broken, faceless, lifeless, yet alive in ink and shadow. I pressed my hands to my face, trying to stop seeing, stop hearing, stop feeling. Hours, maybe days, passed. Time had no meaning. The whispers never stopped. My nightmares didn't end. My dreams were endless hallways, twisted friends, shadows clawing at walls, faceless figures drifting silently. I survived, but only in body. My mind was shattered, fractured. I couldn't look at reflections without seeing them. My friends, faceless, broken, silent. Shadows clung to every corner, every flicker of light. The school waited, always, patient, hungry. I walked away, but I knew it wouldn't let me go. It never did. I survived, but I am haunted. Every storm, every empty building, every dark corner, the whispers return. Only one. Survive. Only one. Survive. I will survive. I must survive. But at what cost? The building watches. It waits. And it remembers. And I know one day it will call again.